What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. This is episode number 34, and we start today's episode with a game against Lille here, back in the Ligue 1. Of course, in the last episode, we had one of our best wins of the series so far, if not our best win of the series so far, where we travelled to Sweden to take on AIK in our Champions League qualifier first leg, and we beat them by 4-1. So, without doubt, one of the best wins, if not the best win in the series so far. The board, of course, wants to get to the group stages of the Champions League. We're expecting nothing else really, and after that huge 4-1 win away in Sweden, we have a massive advantage going into the second leg, which is in the next game in today's episode actually, after this game against Lille. But taking on Lille for the first game of today's episode, first chance fell to us. We hit the post in the first half, played pretty well in the first half, just didn't carve out too many clear opportunities, but in the second half here, 8 minutes after the restart, Yannick had a great chance to get his second goal of the season already. Terrible defending from Lille, they just gave the little man the ball. He goes through the shoot, but Vincent Enyema, the Nigerian goalkeeper, makes a great save and keeps it goalless. In the 66th minute, Lille had one of their rare chances in the game to grab themselves the goal to put them in front. Nangi's denied by a great save by Barmy though, as he turns his shot behind for a corner, and it was how the game would finish as well. Final score, Paris FC 0, Lille 0. So sadly for us, dropping points here against Lille already. Never good to do that, especially at home when you come on the back of a fantastic season like the one we had last season. You want to try and win as many games in quick succession right from the beginning of the season. This is a game which I think we should have won, to be honest. We defended quite well, but just didn't carve out enough opportunities. But either way, goalless draw. Lille aren't a bad side, and at least we are still yet to lose in the start of the third season. But still, following out some player training here, and also a transfer came in as well, as you can see, for Herve Haidara. He's the right midfielder we promoted from our team last season, and he's 19 years old. He's up to a 59 overall now, but I've said many times before, those type of players, when they come out of the academy, if they've got so much room to grow, and to begin with are such a low overall, like, there's no reason why they couldn't succeed if you give them the game time, you maximise their development with training and so on. That's fine. But for me, I always think because of how quickly you can have good progression with your squad in career mode, those type of players, they don't have much of an opportunity. So he'll go out on loan. It is only just for 1 year, as he's only got 1 year left in his contract, and I'll be honest, we probably will give him a new contract come the end of the season, regardless of how well he does, because, you know, it's the third season. We're still putting the emphasis on young players, and particularly ones that come out of the academy. But either way, I don't think he's got much potential to succeed here, but we'll have to wait and see. So we take on AIK here for the second game of today's episode, taking on the Swedish side here in the Champions League qualifier second leg. Of course, we beat them away in Sweden by 4-1. So coming into this game, the second leg, they knew trailing by 3 goals on aggregate, they would have to score 4 goals on the night due to the away goal ruling if they were to get through and cause a massive shock. And as you can see, the first goal of chances would fall to us as well, and the stroke of half time should have taken the lead as well. Moussa Dembele was played forward after a lovely team build up there, but sadly could only hit the bar, and eventually the away side got the ball away. So still goalless at the break. That would have been a great goal there, but it was still 0-0. But AIK in this game just really didn't do much at all to suggest they were going to come and score 4 goals at our house, do something that no club has done so far in the entirety of the series. We're usually so locked down on defense when at home, and in this game it was no exception. We were really, really good at playing a high defensive line really, and sort of just shutting them out and not letting them get close to our penalty area. But it was still 0-0, and in the 82nd minute they almost scored a goal here. This free kick going just wide, the post and behind for a goal kick. But 5 minutes later, they had a great chance to at least take a winning goal home back to Sweden with them. And as you can see, Carlson gets inside the area here, across to the far post. Pella gets it away, but it's not fully dealt with, and eventually the shot comes in and does go past Barmy, and AIK would grab themselves a goal to win the game here, even though they were going to be going out of the tie. So AIK do grab themselves a winning goal on the night. Of course, it effectively meant nothing, but the players' reactions would suggest otherwise. They were celebrating the goal like it was the one that was going to send them through to the Champions League group stages, when of course in reality this goal meant effectively nothing. So fair play to them for getting the win, and after we beat them away in Sweden, they come to our house and beat us for the first time in a very long time. I can't remember the last time we lost a game at home, to be honest, but we do lose this one though. It does finish Paris FC 0, AIK 1, and the Swedish side can celebrate the goal and the match result, but of course we are still going through to the Champions League group stages. So I rested a lot of players for that game, to be honest, because I knew that the likelihood of AIK scoring 4 goals was quite slim. But it just made me, you know, think about this year's game really in general. And I know I talk about it quite a lot because I'm just not a fan of it. But, you know, in the last game against AIK, if you watched that game in yesterday's episode, you know, you would have seen the way they actually started the game off. In the first half an hour, fantastic, hitting the bar, going really close for another chance as well. And, of course, scoring the opening goal of the game too. And then, of course, they just started passing the ball around and not really doing much with it. And that game was a bit like that, really. You know, they were trailing by 3 goals in aggregate and needed to come and score 4 goals. You would have thought they would have hired the tempo and tried to play a different style of football, but instead they just didn't seem bothered. They won a possession battle, 59 to 41%, but really didn't do much else until the final 10 minutes when, again, admittedly, they did score the goal to win them the game, but it just wasn't enough, of course. But anyway, following that, you would have seen there Moussa Dembele, a transfer that came in from Real Madrid. Now, of course, last season in Dembele's debut year for us, he didn't do too well. I didn't really get on with him, but he scored 2 goals already this season, both coming against AIK away in Sweden, and he's been dropped to a bench role now, and I think he could be quite effective from the bench and being a squad player too. So Dembele's dropped to the bench, and it wouldn't be a bad idea to sell him and try and get a few £1 million for him, then reinvest in a new striker, but instead I'm going to keep Dembele here as I like him, and I think he will come good this season after a struggling first one here with Paris FC. So we take on the Guingamp here for the third and final game of today's episode back in the Ligue 1, of course after that loss against AIK. 2 games without a goal as well, a draw against Lille, a goalless draw, and then that loss to AIK, losing by a goal to 0 as well. Wasn't good to see, and one man who's still yet to score a goal this season is our number 9 and our skipper and our record goal scorer Thierry Ambrose, who scored 37 goals in the first season, 29 last year. It's been a few games without a goal for Thierry Ambrose. I guess you could call it a mini goal drought for Thierry, considering his usual fantastic goal-to-game ratio. So I said to him before the game, it's about time we saw your name on the score sheet again, mate. I mean, seriously, a few games isn't really a goal drought, but it's for Thierry's sake. I mean, even one game without a goal is a bit disappointing. So he does score here, opens the scoring, his first of the year, first of the season, I should say, and makes it Paris FC 1, EA Guingamp 0. But how about this in the 78th minute? You may not have seen this highlight, what was the interesting thing here initially. So look at this again. What's Poundjay doing here? EA Guingamp had a great chance to equalise here, and thankfully Martial made a great defensive clearance and headed this cross behind for a corner to keep it at 1-0. But Poundjay there, my left back, got stuck in animation mode and just wasn't keeping up with the play. Had EA Guingamp scored an equaliser there, I would have been furious. But in stoppage time, they almost scored an equaliser in dramatic fashion. It was still 1-0. They sent everyone forward for a corner, including the goalkeeper, who got onto the ball, dribbled, then took a good shot as well. It was on target, but Barney made a good save and kept it at 1-0. And from there, he launched the ball forward. EA Guingamp failed to deal with it, and it dropped down to Thierry Ambrose outside of the area with the goal gaping and the goalkeeper behind him. He tapped the ball into the open goal, and the team go and bundle on him as well, because, it'd taken a while for Thierry to get a goal this season. I mean, it's a few games, it's not too many, but by Ambrose's standards, I expected to score pretty much every single game. But to get 2 in the same game here, the mini goal drought for Thierry is over, and I'm sure he's going to start notching up the goals again. So he had a really easy finish for this one, because Guingamp gifted him the goal, really. All he had to do was tap it into the open goal, and he did so as well. But just a complete contrast to what could have happened there. EA Guingamp almost equalising in dramatic fashion with the goalkeeper taking a shot from just outside the area, but instead we actually go and extend the lead to 2-0, get a 2-goal cushion. Of course, in stoppage time, that was going to be enough. So final score, Paris FC 2, EA Guingamp 0. First man of the match for Thierry Ambrose this season, and his first goals in the game as well. Does ensure we won't have 3 games without a win, and we do return to winning ways. So good with that, pleased with that, and also, of course, pleased to see Thierry notch up once again. But still following that, it's time for transfer deadline day, and as you can see, deadline day here with Paris FC. I didn't really have much money left over, just over £1 million, or about that really, after the wage budget alteration. I'd say it's around 1.2 to 1.3 million pounds. I was thinking I could possibly sign 1 new squad player to the team. I decided to go for this guy, Maxwell Cornet of Lyon. I put in a bid plus Nicholas, one of our strikers here, who's on the transfer list and in his 30s. He's been here since the beginning, but of course we're trying to reduce the age of this squad, so I want to try and shift him on really. No bids have come in for him. He's been on the transfer list, but no one seems to want him, so I thought I'd try and swap him out to Lyon here, plus £1 million and £1.2 million, but Lyon just weren't willing to play ball. They didn't want to get rid of Cornet and bring in one of those older strikers that we were offering them. So, because of that, they said no. And also as well, I decided to go in for this guy, Alexandre Latour, a left-back, a French left-back playing for Sassuolo, a new-gen/regen, 18 years old, already 64 overall, and his contract is up at the end of the year as well. I thought this would be a good signing for us, so I tried to sign him, plus giving one of our players to Sassuolo as well. I offered them the big stocky centre-back plus 300 grand. I'd wait and see what they say. And also put in a bid for this guy too, Loris Nirai, who I've seen before has had his contract up. I think I once possibly thought about trying to sign him on a free contract, but instead decided against it, as I don't think he's got much potential. He's 26 years old, 69 overall. No, 26 years old. Yeah, he's right, 26 years old, 69 overall. And he would be a good squad player for us, as would Latour. But the one I really want out of these two left backs is Latour, because he's 8 years younger, he's only 5 ratings lower, and I'd imagine he probably has some decent potential to already be a 64 overall at 18 years old, even though he's in the final year of his contract at Sassuolo, and clearly don't value him too much, because as you can see, they do accept a bid of £600,000 plus the big stocky centre-back. So our final signing of the window is going to be this guy Latour coming in, and the big stocky centre-back whose name I just can't pronounce. We've called him that since the beginning of the series, really. He's going to go to Sassuolo in Italy. He's in the final year of his contract. I've been trying to shift the guy on. He's 34 years old. We don't need him. Basically, what I was trying to do here with these players we were looking at, Cornet, Nirai, and of course this guy Latour as well, was just try and swap out one of my older players, because no transfer bids throughout this entire window have been coming in for my older players. So because of that, I wanted to try and get rid of these guys, and I thought swapping them out would be a good way of being able to do that. So Latour in the end, as you can see, does come in for £600,000 plus the big stocky centre-back, and then straight after that as well, you can see a transfer offer does come in for Nicholas. We couldn't give him to Lyon for the exchange of the services of Maxwell Cornet, but as you can see, Nîmes Olympique want to take Nicholas, and we say yes to that deal. So you can see here we do wrap up the deal for Latour, £600,000 plus the big stocky centre-back. You won't be hearing me say that nickname anymore. It's alright, he's gone now, and I'm pretty pleased with that, because again, it's a different position. The defender was centre-back and Latour is left-back, but he is 6'2" and has some okay defending stats, so I might actually play him centre-back if we need to, but I think getting a new left-back in is good. He comes in, he'll be the backup and the understudy for Pound J, and again, I'm actually quite excited about this guy. I'm not going to say he's going to be an absolute bargain and a steal for us, but for £600,000 plus a defender who was 16 years older and who we weren't using, I'm actually okay with that. I think that's a pretty decent deal in my eyes, and a good way to end transfer deadline day, because you can see the final thing that does happen is that Nicholas gets sold to Nîmes Olympique, and also this guy as well, Idris, goes there as well. So Nîmes Olympique want to take two of our old guys, Nicholas and Idris. We say yes to both of those deals. They'll go to Nîmes Olympique, and that does end the summer transfer window. So transfer deadline day ends, we do make a signing, sell 2 players, and give one away to Sassuolo as well. And overall, I would say this has been a pretty good transfer window for us. We sold on some of the 30-plus-year-olds here. We got rid of quite a few of those, and we brought in some good young talent here as well. It is a record amount spent in one transfer window at just over £11 million, but I'm still pretty pleased with the business we've done. I like the signings of Lamar and Corchia as well, our 2 biggest signings now at the club. I think they're going to be very, very good for us. I like the young talent we brought in on pre-contracts as well for free and on low wages too. And of course, Latour as well coming in on deadline day. I think he's going to be a really good signing for us, if nothing else, other than just a backup for Pound J. Still a pretty cheap deal in my eyes, and good to get rid of one of their 30-plus-year-olds in the process as well. But that doesn't transfer deadline day and does any episode as well, guys. So thank you very much for watching the video. Really hope you have enjoyed it. If you enjoyed today's episode of Club and Country, then please leave likes. That's of course much appreciated, and it really helps my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Club and Country very soon.